fucking tell them.
Yep.
Yeah. In the building. Professor in the chats with the like and share. He'll be along here real soon. He'll be here along real soon. Ah, 4 straight, Cowboys Nation. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. 4 straight in the building.
Woo. Feels good, you know. It was
Yeah,
delicious.
my guy Tarek's in the building. Hey, we put our foot on the gas, eased off a bit. We did what we had to do. We had to do. Barry is feeling the DJ. It is what it is. My guy James is in the building as well. What's going on, James? What's good? Dungy's in the building. Shout out to the Jors, aka the Jors, I should say. What's going down? Man, my guy Ryan England's in the building. Tarek Jackson. Hold on, let me get some more names out here. Uber's in the building. David Jenkins always coming through. Who else did I miss? I miss oh my god, Jared Pino. Man, give it a like, give it a share. Give it a like, give it a share, man. Build it up here. I got mad I will be through here momentarily. Life happens, things going on. Like I said, he wanted 60. He said, forget 50 burgers. He wanted 60 versus the Giants. It could have happened because we could have had 30 in the first half, to be honest with you. But
Yeah,
neither here nor
we
there.
started a little slow. We'll get to that though.
Yeah. We're gonna get that. Sam Torres is in the building. North of the Star. How's it going, brother? We got Robert Roberts in the building. What's going on? DA's in the building as well. What's good? Give it a like, give it a share, build it up here. Real quick, Barry, you was out there. Maybe said Giants fans a little bit more chippy. No, I was out there for the Eagles.
Yeah.
I wasn't there for the Giants. We said the Giants were a little bit more chippy, huh?
Yeah, usually we have certain things we expect from Eagles fans. But yeah, the Giants fans, they were not nice at all. I mean,
Mm.
their players were on the field acting up and their fans were acting up off of the field. It was just a mess.
Yeah. I mean, we got some of the players even acting up, right?
Yeah.
We got a particular tight end over there saying somebody said Kurtz punched him in the jaw after the game.
Yeah, like why? When he won by 24 points, why would he be mad? I mean, that doesn't even make sense.
Nah, yeah, right, not at all. And Kurtz is like, yeah, and he had a tweet in response to it and
Right.
everything.
Like he's
Fun
nuts.
times. Yeah, he's like, yeah, that boy's nuts. It's like, come on, hey man. And Buddy tried to say, oh, I was blowing him over the field all week. Oh, did you not see the score? I'll tell you something else, Spoon, that I liked a lot too. So I watched the sounds of the game. This week was about 6 minutes, a little bit over 6 minutes long. Shout out to Randy Gregory said, before the game, he put it down, easy win, the whole nine, and I'm gonna go home and have a glass of wine. I'm not a wine drinker. However, I think now for me, I gotta have a glass of wine with Randy Gregory before I die. I think that's where I'm at now.
I mean, it's a whole vibe. Like Patrick Nosey said, he's a whole vibe before the game. He was ready. He knew what was up, and he showed up. He did his thing, and he deserved that glass of wine. He deserved a few.
Right. And look, I think the biggest thing too when it boiled down to like the sounds of the game was uh they just wasn't really worried about them at all, were they?
They were so carefree.
They just wasn't worried about the Giants at all, Spoon. Spoon, they just wasn't worried about the Giants at all. They were just like, yeah, we're here. We're going to handle business. And I love that. I mean, look, I keep it a buck with it, man. I love it. I love it. As my guy Robert said, yeah, Tony was their best pinch, or was their best chance to catch up. Super move to throw a punch. Here's the thing about that too, right? Like you watched it and like you watched the replay, man. He grabbed his glove.
Yeah, he was readying it up.
He
He was
adjusted his arm and he whiffed. How do you whiff on a sucker punch and nobody's looking at you? And he completely whiffed and got kicked out for it.
ridiculous.
My goodness.
Ridiculous.
My guy Jerry Pino, I lit off with this for those who are getting here now. We're going to talk about that here in a second. Spooney's got some information on there. We're going to talk about this Joe Hayden thing that kind of popped up and kind of percolated right here before we came on tonight and some things. We'll talk about that a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what's there. But yeah, man, again, my guy Maddo is going to be a professor. Is going to be in the building here in 3 to 4 minutes. But bro, yeah, man, what a game, right? What a game in general.
Yeah.
We're going to get into that. We're going to recap that. Everybody's had a good week, I suppose. I hope. And let's go ahead and pivot into some of these into the roster updates. We've been kind of doing this whole. We've kind of called a couple different things, injuries, COVID, whatever. Let's do roster updates. We kind of got a new term just to over carry. We can kind of put it all in there. Looks like nobody's lost. Now we do have the Zeke. Great tweet from Zeke. Pylon 1, Zeke 0. But look, he's going to be okay. He's moving forward. He's fine.
Yeah.
so on and so on. My guy Lando's in the building. Boom. He says, I'm interested in Quentin Williams. Be monitoring the Jets before. I mean, and that's a name that's been floated out there before, right, guys? There's been some
Mm-hmm.
flirtation with the Jets with other players. And we'll kind of see what happens there and kind of go from that. And Dom, you're right in there with the roster, right there. So, Kelvin Joseph, ladies and gentlemen,
Finally
doing
getting
some
some
work. Yeah.
legitimate practice time. Yeah.
There you go. McKeenan doing some tight end coming around, doing
Yep.
some things. Gallimore's a little bit further off. A little bit, not too far.
D Law's moving around without any like aid of anything, so that's good news.
There's no way. Look, and let's be clear here. They're not going to trade Gallup.
They're not. They're
It's not
not.
going to happen. And simple fact, they're going to probably end up with a third round compensatory pick for him. And anything that they trade, they're probably going to get the same value anyways. So the Gallup idea is not going to be on the table. That's just not how this Cowboys team works. It's not how Stephen Jones works. They're going to look at that third compensatory pick. Now the Joe Hayden thing, we're going to touch on that here in a little bit, and we'll kind of talk about it. But again, I don't think you're going to see Gallup get moved at all, especially with the time that he's missing. It could drive his numbers down some. Maybe there's something on the back end. We'll have to wait till the offseason and see. But I just don't see them trading Michael Gallup at this point. Spoonie, Mary, do you think the Cowboys will move on from Michael Gallup? Do you think they would trade him if the right opportunity presented itself?
No, I mean it would literally have to be something like someone's willing to overpay, basically. I mean, in my opinion, obviously, we all love Gallup, but you got a situation where, despite how good our offense is, even though he's been injured, he still adds another element that,
Mm,
and the QB loves him. So your QB loves him. He adds another element. On top of that, a lot of teams, we've seen in these last few years that wide receivers are good. Wide receivers are good and easy to come through in the draft.
mm.
They're easy to come by. So why is someone going to give premium for a wide receiver, even though he is really good? I mean,
Right.
that's my thing.
Yeah, and Cameron with a great point. Juju with the shoulder injury, he had surgery.
Okay.
He's
Yeah.
out for the year. They have a need, if you will, at wide receiver. Uh, I just don't think Stephen Jones is going to do it.
No,
He'll
neither.
prove. And look, maybe he might shock us. Maybe he'll prove us wrong. Spoon.
Nah, I mean, I highly doubt it. I mean, listen, Joe Hayden's 32 years old. He's a solid vet. I'm looking at it as, and not to be showing off, but hey, I want to play for a contending team right now. Can you honor my wishes of removing me or whatever? And the Cowboys right now at 4-1 can say that. We are that type of team. So just remember last season, a lot of veteran players were either let go or released and were able to join a team that they want to join that's contending. So that's the way I look at this Joe Hayden move. He's on the last year of his deal. Michael Gallup is not, in my opinion, he's worth more than Joe Hayden. So
Right. And, again, we're kind of getting the weeds here a little bit, and we'll see what happens. But outside of that, again, we're getting some guys back. We're not losing anybody. That's kind of where it is. Now, they're not all the way back. They're doing work on the side. They've been, from the IR to be able to do the work now. And we have to wait and see as far as exactly when they're going to come back. A lot of these guys might not come back till after, the bye. Maybe
It's
circle
fine.
Minnesota. Yeah, maybe circle
Yeah.
Minnesota, though.
Yeah.
Maybe you
That's
circle
fine.
Minnesota and start looking at some of those things. But yeah, I think Gallimore for sure is a guy after the bye. For sure. I think the other guys, there might be opportunity or a space for them to come in sooner. But I think Gallimore, I'm starting to even feel like Gallup is going to be an after the bye type situation. Is kind of where we are. And as far as the Gallup, as I'm seeing some comments here, and the thing I've said across the way, shouts to our girl Sadika.
Hi.
The big thing for me is I'm not touching anything offensively. I said this in preseason, offseason. I'm all about loading up for the run for six this year.
yeah.
And we'll figure it out in the offseason. I get it. Said Wilson last year of his deal, Michael Gallup last year of his deal. They did draft Semi Fioku. We got to let him develop. Back to Mary's point, if you don't bring back Said or Gallup, then you dip into the draft again. You still have Amari and Lamb, and you maybe go find a piece. But right now, not worried about anything but this run and trying to get there and do what we need to do. So again, we got to get him back from injury, of course. He does add an element to the team on the non routes and the sleds and the big bodies with Gallup. And, and it's just great depth, right, guys?
Yeah.
Why hurt the depth as he's about to be on the cusp of coming back? Whenever, hey, look, if Amari goes down or Lamb goes down, or if Ced Wilson, who has had injury history here in Dallas, goes down, you got Gallup in the wings ready to rock. So yeah, man, for me, it's all about running, making this playoff push and run and try to get to the Super Bowl and ultimately get, as Mary has said so often, let's get
It's
6.
6.
Right. Right.
It-
So yeah, I'm just not going to touch. Not
oh,
and back to what Spoon said. I'm not touching it for. How old is Hayden again?
32.
32.
Yeah, I'm good there. Here's this hot 6 though, and y'all be good. Y'all be easy.
Yeah.
If that's and we'll
Right.
see. Like I said, a Spoon. You said I do want to touch this because it is the roster segment here. It was brought up, and actually, let me give a guy some shout out here because he was talking about it. And we were kind of going back and forth a little bit. Let me scroll back up real quick. So I got Pino, and it says, "I know it's early. Any truth to the rumor? Cowboys interested in Joe Hayden, and you said you kind of did some research, and what'd you come up with?" Spoonie?
I'm sorry.
Me? Me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Say it again, BJ.
Spoonie, on the Joe Hayden. What'd you hear about the Joe Hayden thing?
Oh no, basically, I got it from Mary. Mary's the one who pointed out to me 1st,
Mhm.
and I went and signed research, and basically that the Cowboys they called the Steelers and are interested. On his last previous deal, they would have no ties to him really after the season. Just more depth. That's what we got right now. So they are looking to improve that secondary. Listen, again, we spoke about it before with that number 2 spot. We know Anthony Brown has been playing very good lately, but maybe they're looking at, what, we want to really make sure make this run, and at the same time protect the what they have as far as investment. At the same time, get some more quality depth at that position. So wait and see.
Right. And I mean, if they made the call or whatever and they're looking at it, no problem there. No qualm,
Right.
no harm, no foul. Um, it's just certain things we talked about that we've talked about a long time on this show of securing and making the cornerback position a little bit better,
Yeah.
right? If Hayden's the guy that they've kind of circled and they've kind of went into, so be it. That's fine. And we'll kind of wait and see how that progresses. Maybe it's going to be something a little bit closer to the trade deadline. But, again, the Cowboys just typically haven't done a lot of they've inquired. We've known this, right? But there's been safeties, different things. They did pull the trigger on Amari, but we know they're not going to give away a lot of assets, especially draft capital, to go secure somebody unless their backs are against the wall. So it'll be interesting to see if they do add a piece, especially right now. I find it very intriguing with Kelvin Joseph coming on very close to coming back, right? Very close to coming back. That this kind of news kind of hit, and possibly they've inquired. Right, they've inquired a little bit about seeing what's up. Is there something there? As my guy perfectly said here by my guy Cowboys 22, right? 2022 says good organizations do their due diligence.
Yes.
And man, there is definitely no ifs, ands, or buts about that. And those are the type of things that you want to see done. But as our guy J Tuck says, nah, they not. You already know what it is. You already know that. Mary, what percent? What's that percentage you always give us?
0.00.
Right. Look, be surprised. Hey, look, be surprised if it happens. Outside of that, hey man, due diligence, the whole nine, and whatnot. And I missed it because I did see somebody come through and say something about the center position. And the one thing I will say when it comes to the center position, we kind of talked about this as we're in the roster segment here. Oh my God. Oh, hold on. Let me get Professor on here. O's in the building.
What's up, everyone?
Professor's in the building at all. But when it comes to the center position, I'm sorry, whoever commented about this a little earlier and I missed it. I want to throw it up there. But with that being said, guys, real quick, I think we talked about this before on the show. After the bye week, I think it's Connor McGovern that's going to be your center moving forward for the rest of the year. Am I crazy here, guys? What do y'all think?
I posted something in the group where they're, trying out Connor at center. They're still trying out the other Connor at center. So, they're practicing it with different snaps with the different QBs. So, and we already know that they've had McGovern taking snaps there for a few weeks now. So I think it's definitely possible. I think this is Tyler's week to impress them a little bit. see what he can do, and if not, then they might come back after that bye week and put somebody else in.
Okay, Matt.
Yeah, center is literally since training camp is a position that we've been talking about in the starting.
I mean,
Like,
behind the scenes, I mean, be clear. Don't be modest here. Week 1, you're like, he's got to go. After the Tampa game, you were like, he's got to go.
Yeah, I was like, I've seen enough.
And I was like, Matt, hold on. It was the Bugs. Let's see what happens. You're like, Knicks, he's got to go. I was like, wait. Well, maybe here we are. He's got to go.
Yeah. So, full transparency, I've been off the wagon for a while, but I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. I listened to Nick's and voice of reason. He's a smart guy, and I was like, maybe I need to pump the brakes. Maybe I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. Then week 2 came around. I'm like, nope, done, get rid of him. So it's one of those things. He's a young guy. He still potentially could develop, but we have a roster right now that looks like legit contenders, and he's such a sore spot on our offense. Like,
yeah.
So the whole reason we weren't playing Connor Williams at center, which we experimented with, were the snaps, and Tyler's not even snapping good. Like,
a lot of bad snaps.
That's the whole thing you're supposed to be better at than Connor Williams is you're a center and you can snap. So I'm like, if we're going to deal with bad snaps anyways, let's just bite the bullet and see what Connor Williams or Connor McGovern, it looks like McGovern at this point, what he can do. So, I'm out on him.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of time, and the reason, and I kind of talked about this in the pre, especially, and I highlighted the Arizona game, and I was like, look, 5-10 minutes before the game, you walked up to Connor Williams, hey, you're starting at center. They wanted him to take the job and let McGovern be left guard. They wanted him to take the job, and they was like, oh, Nick, you're tripping. And I was like, no, I think they are, but boy, Connor Williams, that is, them snaps are worse, and even, I mean, as bad as Tyler had some snaps on Sunday. Williams just can't do it, right? We just know.
Right.
Now, McGovern did play some center at college, and it makes sense. And we've kind of heard through McCarthy, through things, that he is getting better. He's doing the reps, right? It even goes back to week 1 when he was playing, right guard. He was making offensive line calls for Tyler, right? So, again, it's one of those things, man. I think it's the writing's on the wall, especially after last week. I'm not a big fan of but this is how teams operate in the NFL. When they make a switch like that, they just go back to last year. When did Zach Martin become the official right tackle? After the bye. They're just kind of stuck in that way that they wait till after the bye to make those moves. And right now, I just think that's what's going to happen. I mean, I think. I think that's just what's going to happen. And after the bye, we're going to see Connor McGovern take over at center.
It's one of those things too. I really wish I could understand the rationale of the coaches. They're smart guys. They know what they're doing. Philbin's a great offensive line coach. I wonder, like you mentioned, McGovern played some center in college. We know he has at least the ability to do it. There's some experience there. We decided to take a offensive tackle in Connor Williams and convert him to guard. And then we decided, let's try him at center rather than a guy who had already been center. So it's just kind of an interesting decision, but I'm sure there's some reason behind it that maybe I don't know. Maybe they're thinking, Connor's a free agent Connor Williams is a free agent next year. We're ultimately going to put McGovern at guard. We want to keep him there. We don't want to experiment with him. Maybe that's the thought process. Totally fair. I would be interested to hear if we ever get a soundbite. We probably won't. But what the reasoning on why you would not put the guy who's already been a center at center, if you're trying to break glass in case of emergency.
Uber with the question, is Tyler B playing hurt? Spoonie?
I don't think he's playing hurt. I just think it's less experience. It's like his 8th or 9th game.
Yeah.
His 8th or 9th game. Because remember last season he started the whole year. He started like towards the end. I believe it was like 3 or 4 games last season, and then whatever's in this season. So it could be where he's just not there yet. When it comes to Connor McGovern, he's been on this team already for about 3 years, and he has growth, and we've seen him start. And also Dak Prescott, what he's comfortable with. I think Dak has a big say in all of this as well. I know they've been practicing together, and he probably has he's probably more comfortable with Connor taking this Connor McGovern doing the snaps versus Tyler, where a lot of mistakes. And again, if we're trying to make this good run, we got to have that consistency. So it does make sense to wait to the bye week to really get those really mental reps in there. So that way, when we start back up again, there's really no errors. So I'm with it.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll wait and see. Obviously, the PFF grade. I mean, he's given up almost 34%, well, 33.4, I think it is, percent of the rushes that Dak is facing or going up against right now. And of course, you don't want your quarterback with that pressure, right up the middle.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean, we got to figure some things out and do some things.
If you
We'll wait and
want
see.
a small little glimmer of hope, sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good.
Pass protection's been his biggest issue. He's been okay in the run game, aside from snapping. He actually was really good in pass pro this week. He was bad in rush defense, rush blocking. It was the complete opposite. So he went from being a good run blocker, bad pass blocker to the opposite this week. So maybe he can get both on the same page at the same time, and we may have something to develop down the road. But still want McGovern there.
But there's probably why. I mean, here's the thing, man, and that's why, to me, I think it led to bad snaps because he was trying to rush and get to the pass to be better in pass pro. He wasn't securing the snaps and what they need to do. So maybe the bad snaps were a byproduct of him trying to get out of his stance early to block better.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just one of those things. But with that being said, though, guys, that's it for the roster. We're not worried about no more trades or this or that and who they inquired about and the Joe Hayden's. Well, real quick, man. You want to speak on anything on the Joe Hayden thing? Apparently the Cowboys possibly called, asked about Joe Hayden. Anything you want to add or speculate or say on that before we pivot over here?
Not really. I mean, you guys covered it pretty well. I'm kind of the mind, and I hate to pull the Stephen Jones, but I actually like what we have in the clubhouse right now. I like the way that Anthony Brown's been playing the last few weeks. I do.
He's been playing better than people give him.
He's been playing better. I'm not crowning him saying he's a long-term option, but he's been serviceable the last few weeks, and that I'll take that. And then we have, Bossman at some point coming back, and we have guys like Nashawn Wright that we think we're going to be able to develop. So I don't know that trading for a 32-year-old cornerback who's not head and shoulders better than what you have makes a ton of sense.
You're saying he's not head and shoulders better than Anthony Brown?
Correct. Okay. Right now, at this point of his career.
Gotcha. No, fair. Just clear. So we're good there. All right, guys. All right. Let's get over here to some fun time. And before we start this recap of this 44-20, win against the Giants, let me do something. Let me take this. Let me take this hat off. Okay. All right.
Look at Matt. It's like,
All right. Hey, man, look. Let's keep it a buck. I call it how I see it, and I own it when I'm wrong, and I own it when I'm right. We talked a lot about this movement right here, right? RTDB. All right, we talked a lot about this right here. Okay, we talked a lot about it, and let's be honest. Look, I got to be honest, guys. I do think this offense is fluid. I do think that it is game to game, But we talked a ton, right, about 60-40 is the new average. We gave all the stats. Right, we gave all the stats about the teams that went to the Super Bowl last year, the progressive teams, and everything else. And we went back and forth. And week one, even with Dak, throwing it 58 times, which was the right move. I still don't disagree with that. It was still the right move. I mean, guys, Dak threw it 32 times. Look, I'm not going to add the CeeDee Lamb or the Cedric Wilson run, which I should, and I won't even add the Dak 2 runs because they wasn't really designed runs. We ran the ball 35 times between Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard. And if my math, I'm not a well-educated guy. I'm educated enough. But my math tells me that we ran the ball more than 50% and we passed the ball less than 50%, if my math's correct there. Now, Dak's been very efficient the past 4 games in this win streak. But if we go back and add up the run attempts versus the pass attempts, guys, I'll give the space here, Matt. I'm gonna start with Professor O.
All right, so the running game has been super efficient. Really proud of what they've done. Offensive line's been blocking, creating a lot of holes. The running backs have been breaking tackles, making people miss. Kudos to them. The run game's working. I like the way that they're doing it. We're 51% pass, 49% run. So you're as close to balance as you're going to get in the NFL. That's actually super balanced because really 55-45 is, maybe 60-40 what teams are shooting for.
Right.
What I would say is, although I'm happy we're running the ball, we're only able to do this for 2 reasons. Because Dak's been so efficient as a passer, it allows you to be able to run the ball. If if Dak's not hitting these passing routes and not attacking the way that he has when we do throw the ball, the defense is going to load up even more for the run, and you're going to be down more in the game and ultimately have to pass the ball. So the fact that the run game and pass game has complemented each other so well allows you to keep doing that. And then secondly, the fact that we've been able to take away the ball in defense gives us more opportunity to run the ball and less risk where you don't say, hey, we have to score this possession because we have to score every single possession with this defense. The fact that our defense has been able to hold their own allows you to take a little bit more of that slower paced, control the ball, time of possession type of mindset. So I'm totally fine with running the ball when it makes sense. If basically what I was against was don't run the ball just to run the ball. If you're running into a wall like we did against the Saints, where you ran 18 times for 30 yards or whatever, skip it. Just pass. But no, the Saints 2 years ago.
Oh, 2 years
when
ago.
Zeke averaged like 1.9 yards a carry or whatever it was, we just kept trying and it didn't work. I'm like, just open it up and air it out. I'm also totally fine with running the ball. If you run 40 times and you're averaging 5 yards a carry, run every play. I don't care. They're doing a great job of complementing it. Kellen is in his bag right now. He has a really good rhythm going on. So if we need to run the damn ball to win, let's do it. If we need to pass the ball to win, let's do it. Whatever. I'm good.
And Dom, let's be clear. And we said this as well. Whatever it takes. We said this before week one on this show. If you're a long-time listener, we all went around and we said this. Throw it 100 times, run it 100 times. I don't care. Get the job done. But let's be clear. We're going up early and big. Not true the last 2 weeks. We were losing at the half against the Panthers. Facts. Last week, we were up 17-10 with them getting the ball first in the second half. So we have it. Now, once you do extend the game out some or whatever, then you can turn over, right, and start running the ball. And the biggest thing that we always talked about was throw it to get up early, unleash this pass rush, run the ball. We called Zeke the wild thing. I even tweeted the whole if you're familiar with Major League,
great movie.
Major League, right? Play the song, let him walk out, let him be the closer. However, though, man, it's been so effective. I mean, let's be clear here, guys. I mean, Zeke 21 carries, 110 yards, 5.2 and a touchdown. Pollard 14 for 75, 5.4. But back to O's point. And the thing about Dak is this: he has been so efficient. It's definitely when we were in Dallas, me, Mary, and Tuck, and Spoonie, and after the game, was man, Dak is just so efficient. Again, 22 and 32, 302 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Right? I mean, just so efficient now, if you will. And that's the biggest jump. Like, if we talk about anything when it comes to Dak, his efficiency, no matter how many reps he's getting, because right, he only had 14 completions against the Eagles, 4 for touchdowns. He's just so efficient now. It is kind of crazy, right? But now, as we're talking about this run and how balanced we are, Mary Spoon, we're about every way, any way, shape, or form. Right now, it's running the ball. We're going to New England, right? Maybe run the ball some more. The great thing that's in our back pocket, Mary, and I'll let you expound on that. If we have to and we can't run the ball, we just know 4's in the wings that he can go win the game for us.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, I echo everything that Matt said. That's my problem with people that just say run the ball and you win. It's just not true. It's just 100% not true. You go out there, you take what the defense gives you. If the Patriots, we'll talk about it later, but they're giving up a lot of rushing yards per game. But if they somehow figure out how to stop the run on Sunday, does that mean we need to keep forcing it and keep forcing it and keep forcing it just because, run the ball and you win? No, that's not true.
Yeah.
You got, people say, Zeke's making a lot of money, so you need to run the ball. And well, Amari Cooper and Dak make way more than he does. Yeah. They both make way more than he does. So if this is just about money, pass it then. But outside of that, I'm just saying, you can't be stuck on one game plan and try to keep doing it just because you think that's the only way you can win, especially when you have an offense like ours.
Yep, and Dak said that leading up to this game. He said before we got to the Giants game, we're not just going to throw the ball for the sake of throwing the damn ball. Mm-hmm. We're just not going to. And back to even multiple times. He's not said this once, Matt, but Kellen Moore said this more than once. We're just going to attack what you give us aggressively. And we're just seeing that right now. So right now, it's winning that way, right? It's the run game. It's doing the work and whatnot. But at any point in time, I'm just excited because I know If Dak has to go through it 58 times, he's going to be efficient, and we have a chance to win. Spoonie?
Hey, listen, the Giants was pretty much bottom 10 against the run. The Patriots teams have ran pretty well.
He's about the Patriots. We'll talk about him in a second. Just talking about what's happening right now against the Giants.
I'm gonna be anti. I'm sorry. The Giants are bottom 10 against the run, and it's like what Matt just came out and said. It complements each other. At the same time, we are a good running team, and we have a good pass. So it's basically like whatever we can kill you with both. We're gonna beat you up, beat you down, be physical up front, and then when it's time for the Swiss Army knife, we're gonna cut you open. I mean, it's just a deadly way of doing things, and we are doing it consistently every game.
Right.
We've been scoring 40 points ever since week 2. I mean, take off the points against the Carolina Panthers. We should have scored 40, but I'm leaving at 40 across the board because we just been too dominant, and it's pretty much pick your poison. Whether you want to see Zeke and Pollard on the run, or you want to see the receiving corps get busy. And the scary part is that we're doing this with guys who are injured, who are starters, whether both sides of the ball, offense and defense. So, which is going to be a plus once we get everybody back. I really think that we are going to be that type of team after the bye week. But listen, keep doing what's working, and that's it.
And the thing too is that it's not 2 yards on a cloud of dust running the ball, right? It's not, we're just going to chime it up the middle, do certain things, right? It's the kind of calls that are different that are happening now. And to me, to a certain extent, and I will throw this out here as we're talking about this, some of this is a byproduct with La'el Collins being out and Michael Gallup being out. And this is why I'm not big on getting rid of Michael Gallup, guys. I think they looked at their roster and everything and what's happening and said, okay, right now running the ball benefits us more with Collins out and Gallup out. Look, Cedric Wilson is done great. Look, no disrespect to Cedric Wilson. But as I've always said is Michael Gallup gives you a different dimension that nobody else gives you. Exactly. It's the big body, the big slant, the 9 guy. And we heard this preseason, he learned all 3 spots. He's ready to go anywhere, anytime. So I think some of the going from the very pass heavy, although they should have because the run wasn't working with Martin out or whatnot, into what we've done the past 4 weeks. Some of it is a byproduct of Collins is out. And look, when we talked about this, Terrence Steele, much better at run blocking than pass pro. Not that he's not been bad at pass pro, but in the right situations that Professor O talked about earlier. Okay. So with Gallup out, with Collins out, it behooves us to run the ball a little bit more right now. But again, they have found a way, as my guy Brown says, depth is the key, but they have found a way to make that work. And that's the big thing I think about this team is they have found a way, irregardless, to make it work, whether it's passing, running, doing the same things, or doing either things, I should say, and moving forward. And we'll see what happens as it goes forward. But for currently, allow me to tip the cap, if you will. I wanted to bring it out tonight. The way we have been running the ball, especially the past 2 weeks and what's been happening, has been A1. We've seen it because remember after the Chargers game, it was, it's time to bench Zeke. Oh, look, it's Pollard time. Yeah. Mary, say it again. Do it again, Mary. Hit it one more time, Mary. Oh, Lord. Easy.
That's an important comment, though, too. When we're talking about playing complementary football, it can mean a lot of things, right? It could be your pass game complementing your run game, your defense complementing what you're doing on offense.
Yes.
Zeke and TP are 100% complementing each other.
Yes.
The fact that Pollard's able to take as many snaps as he is, even in pass pro, he's able to take a little bit off of Zeke, and all that does is allow Zeke to be 100% as often as you could possibly be in a football game. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to go the Xavier Woods route, but it's true. The more snaps you take, especially in a physically grinding position like running back, where you have to run into defensive tackles and safeties and linebackers constantly, and you have to take pass pro where you're picking up blitzing linebackers and defensive ends. It's a tough position to do that. So to have a guy like Pollard who can take some of that off of his plate just gets the best of both of them. Not to mention a fun little fact for you guys, because a lot of people think, Zeke's running into these stacked boxes. Pollard gets a little bit different. Defenses are starting to respect Pollard too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
So Pollard right now is seeing an average of 6.6 men in the box. Zeke's seeing 6.7. Both of those are seeing more than Saquon Barkley and Miles Sanders in terms of loading up the box. Both of them see a stack box more than Saquon Barkley and Miles Sanders too. So it's kind of interesting. It's just showing the defenses are starting to say, okay, he's not a guy that we can play nickel defense and get away with. We have to bring some bodies up in the box. And again, when you do that, it allows Dak in the passing game to be effective too. So just all across the board, they're all doing a great job of complementing each other.
And going back to Kellen Moore is used to when they did this. Oh, here's Paul. Right. It would be when Garrett was here. I should say it was okay. Well, sometime in the second quarter. All right. Well, whoever the backup running back is, you're getting a series, and that's it. We're done.
Yeah.
And then
we were pissed every time. We're like,
Yeah.
why don't you mix them up more? Like,
And if you're ever in the game, aside from that series, it's like a jet sweep or a gimmick play where they know that it's going to you. That's it.
exactly.
Like,
Right.
Yeah.
And they've just found a great way to balance this thing and do it the right way. So complimentary football is definitely the best way to put it. With that being said, though, we'll move off of that. We'll get here to this 44-20. The Cowboys over 500 yards. And I decided to go look it up that night. And I looked, I was like, this is the first time since 1983 that the Cowboys passed for 300 yards and rushed for over 200 yards. And that's how efficient this offense was against this Giants team. The first time since 1983 against Week 7 Philadelphia Eagles, I believe, for 300 passing, 200 rushing. Amazing when you think about that. And that's that complimentary football that we've been talking about so far, right, guys? It was just, I mean, everything was working. It was dialed up the right way. So you have to love that. Defensively, Matt, he didn't record a sack, Mr. Gregory. But boy,
Those pressures.
I mean, Mary, what did he end up with? 9, 8, 9?
9. It was 8 or 9,
pressures?
and like he was like nobody else got that.
I think it was 9 pressures and 4 quarterback hits.
Yeah.
And the Anthony Brown interception was
Because of
kudos to him, but
yeah.
Gregory would force that interception.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and then there was a particular moment I was looking at a different film or whatever, and I saw this, and I shared this clip, and it was Golston, it was Odigizua, and it was Parsons, all three converging on Daniel Jones.
Mhm.
And I said, my goodness, your top 3 picks in the front 7, Kelvin Joseph, obviously the second round pick, your top 3 picks in week 5 converging on the quarterback. Spoonie, how do you not get excited about that?
Listen, you have to be excited. It's like I said earlier. I mean, we just winning all over the field. I mean, now when just today there was a comparison between like Dak and Peyton Manning. Or he's above Drew Brees. When you hear that, when you hear your quarterback in those conversations with those players, you know, it should make you feel good as a fan. It really should. Things that Dak's able to do. I don't see really no weakness really going forward. I really don't, and it's crazy because beginning of the off before the season started, we had a lot of questions, and you know the number one thing was this defense. You know how fast they're gonna come together, and we did say that during the season they're gonna get better and better and better and better. The same way I remember it was either Matt or BJ did mention teams like the Chiefs when they had a new defense.
That's right,
and they got better towards the end. The same way like Tampa Bay last season, they got better towards the end. And you know, especially we got these young players that are going to be here for a long time. This is exciting. It's exciting. It's too exciting to not even think about it. It's crazy going forward. This defense and this whole team. We got the 3rd youngest roster in the whole NFL.
Right.
The whole, you know, so it's crazy.
Yeah. And Brandon with a question: defensively, right, wrong, true, or false? Anthony Brown is the best cornerback on the team. He's graded the highest via PFF. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and pivot to our PFF guru here, Professor O.
So that's false.
Obviously.
It's false.
I had a feeling.
Quick little rundown of PFF grading just for people that don't really understand it. It is confusing. I even did a little, I had a cup of tea with them and I still don't fully understand it, but I'll put it this way. So typically fans look at a guy like Diggs, and I'm not bashing Diggs. I just want you to understand their argument. I'm not saying I agree with it. we only look at the plays where Diggs was really targeted, unless there's like a blatantly obvious that he missed coverage and they have an overthrow or something. So fans typically remember an interception, a big tackle from a cornerback, and like 5 or 6 times they're tested. They're grading every single play, whether the ball's thrown his way or not. So it's potentially he could be playing in trail techniques. So for those that don't know, he's intentionally letting the receiver get in front of him, playing closer to the ball to kind of bait the quarterback to throw, which is what he did against TJ Broad to get the interception with Glennon. And on that play, he's technically beaten in coverage, even though he's really not, and they may grade him negatively for that. So, again, take it with a grain of salt. I'm a big believer in stats and analytics. I don't really care so much about grading. It's fun, but it's subjective because it's somebody's opinion. They're doing the best they can based on what the coverage looks like, but they don't know 100% every play what the exact coverage package is. It may look like it's on a player, and it really may be the safety didn't get in his zone quick enough, and the cornerback was trying to pass it off, and it looks like it was beaten on him because he was the closest man in coverage, but it wasn't really his responsibility. So there's a lot of things like that that go into it. So take it with a grain of salt. I don't agree with that. Brown's playing well compared to what we've seen in the past, and I'll take that caveat. I think overall, for the most part, he's playing pretty solid football. But no, he's not the best corner, even close.
Yeah, I think for me, it just boils down to this. No, the question is false. First and foremost, it's false. Besides that, I think he's playing at a better clip because he's playing worse quarterbacks. The first 2 weeks, he played very good quarterbacks, and we kind of saw what he did, right? The last 3 weeks, he's played subpar quarterbacks, so he's gotten better. So, and look, and we can even divulge into the wide receiver course and who he was covering and different things. Not to get ahead of ourselves, it's New England this week. But when you start thinking about in the playoffs, he's not going to be facing the Sam Darnolds, the Jalen Hurts of the world. He's going to see the I get it, Herbert's in the AFC, but I'm saying of that caliber, he's going to see the Herberts, the Tom Bradys. So yes, right now he's doing a great job. I would say this, as we led off this show in something percolated about the Cowboys called about Joe Hayden. There's a reason why. If he was doing that well and he was considered to be the best, they're not doing their due diligence in placing calls for fillers. Spoonie or Mary, if you want to add on any of that, by all means.
I mean, yeah, obviously he's not the best cornerback on the team, but he's definitely way better than a lot of fans give him credit for. They just remember the first 2 weeks and they held on to it even in the last 3 weeks. So, I mean, he's played better, like you said, against some worse competition. And they're probably looking at their options. He said it's a 365, 24/7 thing. Maybe
you buy what Steven's saying, man. Hold on, Mary. I mean, you believe it in Steven?
If this rumor,
the only one they got married too. So let's see that in the chat because I saw a bunch of people say they got O now. They got O. So Mary, welcome to the team, man.
Yeah, Steven's got married.
Well,
let's go.
I'm just saying, if they really actually did that, if the rumor's true, then fans can feel a little bit better about what he actually said about it. So, I mean, yeah, it's not only that you might have somebody that could be better, but you also have depth in case of anyone gets hurt, or if Kelvin isn't, knock on wood, what you think he is.
Big facts. And Willie said it right. People need to understand you can't have, the player, an all-pro player, if you will, at every spot on the team. And that is a completely fair assessment, Willie. For sure. I want to highlight that. That is completely fair.
1,000% true. Yeah.
But the question is, for us, what we have to think about, it's not about going to get an all-pro or somebody better than Diggs on the other side. You look at where Anthony Brown is there an opportunity to possibly get better there for the run? But I completely agree with you. As we talk about center, we talk about corner, right? Yeah. Look, Travis Frederick's not walking through that door, ladies and gentlemen. Like our all-pro guys are going to come through the door and be center. But can he just snap the ball better all game? We're looking for those things. As Matt O said earlier, can he give us a solid game of pass block and run blocking in one game? Not Zach Martin. Not Zach Martin.
Zach Martin would be nice, but we can't expect.
Yeah. I mean, we'll take. We'll take. Hey, Travis Frederick, you want to come back? You feeling good? You feeling healthy? Sure. But at the end of the day, no, you don't. You're not going to get an all-pro at every position. But can you get just a smidge better? As Mary just said, and Steven has convinced her, 365 days a year, you're looking for somebody different. Go ahead, Spoonie, jump in there, man. I cut you off a little bit.
No, it's good. Listen, you have to be, when you have a 4-1 team, and when you see the type of team that you are right now, and you look at the schedule, it's like Amari Cooper says, if you're winning the way you're winning, right? If you're doing what you're doing, you could talk about championships. You could talk about Super Bowl. They having that conversation in that locker room. Again, they're having that conversation.
Cooper brought it up. Cooper brought it up. Yeah, Cooper brought it up.
So,
yeah,
he did. So and I know Jerry Jones. And happy birthday, Mr. Jerry Jones.
79. Clap it up for Jerry. 79.
Gerald Wayne, Mr. Gerald. 79 today.
I mean, I know he's like, listen, we may have that type of team. I mean, Jimmy Johnson did come out and say that this is the best team I had since my team. Stephen Jones agreed to that. I know people's like, that's crazy. Well, to me, it's not crazy because look what's going on. And it's almost the exact same way as the early 90s team. I mean, we beat up teams. We not just win, we beating them up. Up and down. And here's another thing, y'all. I can't stand that when folks come out and people come out and say that, well, we beat a bad team. Here's the thing. If we just getting by bad teams, I can understand. We beating them up like the way we're supposed to.
44-20.
Good teams beat up bad teams. So when you look at all that coming in, we got a bye week. We got 7 starters back. We got to start getting serious. This could be a championship. And I love what BJ said earlier, which is the most important thing that Cowboy Nation need to stick into their minds. Put in your minds. Forget about cap. Forget about money.
Yeah. Give
us the hardware. And we'll down that off season, we'll talk about what's there. The ring is more important. Getting sick. So with that right there, like Mary said, you have to look at everything just in case. And getting a Joe Hayden guy, a veteran guy in here, I think is a solid move.
And pump the brakes there, Spoon. He
almost went into his minute. He almost
went there. Look, Spoon's about to start another route number something or another. Don't Spoon. If you want it to happen, don't you dare go to the group of the page and start a route something with the number behind the picture.
Yeah, because that hasn't worked so far.
Every time you do it, it never works out. I'm not. Shout out to Skeptical. Hey, man, shout out to Skeptical Fan. I mean, I hope you enjoyed everything. I hope you hit that sub button for us.
I just got bad hair right now.
He said, I'm new here. Is everyone wearing hats on purpose? No, we just kind of do this every week. I mean, look, one time I didn't wear a hat and people said, Nick's, where's your hat? So outside of that, man, we just kind of rock a hat. It's not really a here or there thing. There you go, man. I would take the hat there. No hat, right? I had 2 hats tonight. I had to bring out the.
You did, yeah. You switched it up on us.
I had to bring that out for what's been going on, but I brought 2 hats. I've done 3 before. It just depends. But no, man, we just have a good time. And I mean, who wants to look at all this? I mean, I got hair though. I'm not bald. Some people wear. You
don't want to see what's under this hat. I'm bald. Trust me.
Hey, I'm bald.
Not yet, no, Matt. You're young, Matt. You're still good for a couple years.
Yeah, still got the hair.
Although the wedding pics though, that shit
was way long.
Bless.
Matt, can you do me a favor, Matt? Can you do me a favor right here? Can you do the Fonz pose? Can you go?
Hey. Oh, you want to hear with the A? You want
to hear the Fonz pose? You look like the Fonz, like, hey.
hey, man, shout out to Skeptical. Hey, a round of applause for Skeptical Fan. Says he loves the stream.
Appreciate it.
We're on our way to 1,000. We're trying to get it in, man. We appreciate y'all. So real quick, man, we're going to run late tonight, man. We're already 53 minutes in, and we got a lot of stuff to get to. I know. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. I promise you, we're going to get there. And we started late. My fault. I was at my shop. And I was a little late, and things happened. Matt's wife had a blowout. Thank God she is safe. My goodness. With that being said, though, let's put a bow here. Let's put a bow here on the Giants Cowboys 44-20. Let's put a bow here, right? I mean, and Nick, the Cowboys are not going to ever mention that, so it's going to come from a third-party source. So, just saying, Nick, just saying. Yeah. But on the 44-20, is there one thing that you liked, one thing you didn't like, just anything in general? You want big takeaway in general, and I'm going to go around the horn. I'm going to start with you, Mariella. One thing from the 44-20 that you want to take away, that was a takeaway for you.
Obviously, I don't know if this was on purpose, but one thing I said when, the video came out of, I think it was Bradbury and was it Adoree Jackson? I can't remember.
Oh, the dink and dunk.
And they kept saying dink and dunk, and they weren't. I don't think they meant it fully, like disrespectfully. But I just remember seeing the video and thinking, okay, Dak's gonna like empty the clip, and so like he came out, that like 48-49 to CD, that over 20 yards to Amari Cooper. Another to Cedric Wilson. I mean, that was all of them beautiful passes, like amazing. Throws that obviously, not
the
every
Ced Wilson
QB
pass
can
in
make.
general, with the sun in his eyes, just
it was just like
you can't do it no better.
See it. So yeah, I mean, that was amazing. Obviously, Randy Gregory was amazing. Trayvon Diggs, he could have had three interceptions.
2 for sure, and impossible third. I'm with you.
Yeah,
Goodness gracious.
And we're gonna get to this later, but the Patriots writer saying that that one was a fluke because he was already beat.
Yeah. Tell you what that. We'll get
there. But anyways, I mean, he's just, and we talked about this before we got on, but like getting the sounds from the sidelines. I'm
you in the pocket, Mary. You in the pocket. Let's go, Mary. Just like last week. You in the pocket. Let's go, Mary. Hold on, guys.
No, I hate when you do that. Anyways, the sounds from the sidelines. We talked about this before we went on. Like they are just so carefree. They're just having fun with each other, but they handle business, and so it's like a whole different vibe. We started off a little slow, but it's one of those things. In past years, I would have been worried with that start, but I was we'll be fine. We're gonna get it going, and we did. And
hey, my guy Robert. Yeah, my guy Robert said what's for cute. I mean, you know what? He's a better rated passer than Dak. I mean, maybe there's something there. Maybe we got a QB controversy. I don't know, Robert. We might. Spoonie, 1 second away from the 44-20. If you have anything on that bone, Mary, unlike Mr. Randall, definitely said there was meat on the bone. She was taking it. You got some meat on the bone still, though, Spoonie?
I was about to say me
or Mary.
No. I said Mary said there was meat on the bone and she took it. I said, can you find some more meat on that bone? This 44-20.
Oh, listen, I love the creativity. Listen, we had the teacher versus the student, Kellen Moore and Jason Garrett, and of course that was interesting because because Kellen Moore has not been unleashed. We all know that he was kind of held back when Garrett was here, and the creativity plays they had in the field was great. My favorite play, pretty much, besides the CeeDee Lamb touchdown, was the Zeke pass, where it was pretty much a fake pitch, and he bit. He just tossed it right over the defender, and Zeke high stepped right into the end zone. And I was like, "Oh my God!" It was just like we're gonna do whatever we want to do. And Kellen Moore is showing that creativity, and it's like you're not really seeing the same things every week. You're seeing something different, brand new.
Wrinkles, the wrinkles.
Mm-hmm.
Which is gonna make this Sunday's game a little more fun because you all know it's good creativity, defense versus with Belichick and Kellen Moore on the offense. So
I saw that in the chat. I was hoping you'd pull that up.
Hey, listen, and I'm gonna damn wine coolers. I ain't drink that.
I legit thought you froze because you were just sitting there. Like I thought it.
I did too. I was like, "Oh, damn, we lost Spoon. Oh, we lost Spoon." He's like,
nah.
I'm back.
Drink wine coolers.
Hey, man. A capper. You have a capper for the 44-20 for you?
I do. It's a negative one, which is weird because I'm usually a positive guy.
Yeah.
Last week when we were talking about our keys of the game and things of note, I pointed out, and you guys all immediately agreed, the one thing I was concerned on was Kadarius Toney, that they were going to use him similar to Carolina did with DJ Moore.
Yeah.
Because as good as Quinn's been, we don't seem to have an answer for that yet. Maybe it's just because of personnel not being on the field, getting health back. Maybe it's just developing the scheme. I don't know. But when you put receivers in motion, and especially when you line them up in the backfield and get them stuck on linebackers, we really struggle with that. Mm-hmm. And I said, if Garrett's smart, he's going to duplicate that game plan. He did. And it worked. Luckily, our offense is just too high-powered for them. They had a bunch of injuries. It all worked our way. Yeah. Great. Happy we won. I am concerned because when we see Kansas City, I guarantee you Andy Reid and Bieniemy are going to do the exact same thing with Tyreek Hill. They already do that anyways. Yeah. They're going to see that we struggle with it, and we're going to see a higher dose of that. The good news is we don't play a lot of teams with guys like that, but it's a concern.
Yeah, it's a little hole.
Falcons, Cordell Patterson, they'll do the same get up with him.
But I do think here's what I kind of believe. I'm not saying the blueprint's all the way out there, for Kansas City. It's kind of future casting here a little bit, but the book is out. As long as you play too deep and they're not interested in dinking and dunking and going down the field, things will happen. So we'll kind of wait and see if Dan Quinn's smart enough to kind of change that, and we'll talk about that at that point. For me, the 44-20. The big thing, I guess, and Mary, obviously you touched on a lot there, Mary. But I'm gonna pick on one thing that Mary touched on, is that in years past we've seen starts from this team that way, and it turned out bad on teams that were not as talented as us. And again, this is why I'm doubling down on this. I'm gonna keep pounding this. This is the difference between Jason Garrett and Mike McCarthy. The way this coach, the way that things happen. Like we're already overcome the injuries anyways. Beyond that, though, with a bad start right here, and y'all all know, everybody in the chat, I think even on this panel to a certain extent would admit, like, okay, damn it, here it is. The shoe's going to drop. We just don't have it today. It's a weird pick on 4th and 2 where it gets batted, it gets intercepted. Oh, it's a bad snap inside the 10. They recover. Oh my God, here we go. And it wasn't that way. So I will pick resiliency.
It's a good one.
This team. Resiliency of this team to have those things happen and still walk away with a 44-20 is something we haven't seen in the past. I'm gonna do one bad as well. There's still like you can get away with it against teams you're not on the same token. Let me flip the coin, I should say. You can do that against the Giants. You can't do that, as you just mentioned, as we talked about Kansas City, how they do it. Because I said, I think going forward, we're going to see teams try to replicate what the Panthers did. They're going to try to find that receiver matchup. Can they make and expose that? They're going to try to run the ball, keep our offense off the field, and muck the game up. And we kind of saw that somewhat. Now the Giants took some L's. I mean, obviously, look, and the fact that Jordan Lewis got some hate on Twitter or whatever, like, oh, he did that on purpose to hurt. That was a freak thing. Like, he didn't go out of his way to hurt Saquon Barkley. Look, Saquon Barkley comes from a long list of Penn State guys that just haven't panned out. And for him, it's that way. But with that being said, though, the things that happen, you do that against good teams, it won't turn out 44-20. And again, I go back to the Bucks. Got to play a clean game. It don't have to always be in touchdowns and field goals every drive, but you got to play a clean game. And the first step, it definitely wasn't clean for the Cowboys. I just want to see them as the season goes along, just play cleaner games is all I want to see. But the resiliency of this team, and they don't blink. Some of that is the coach. Some of that's number 4 as well, where he's at right now. Right. But the resiliency. With that being said, though, hey, 4-1. We move on to 40 burgers for NFC East opponents. And I forgot, somebody told me that we were going to drop 40 burgers on every single NFC East team this year. I'm here for it.
You know what? One more before we move on, real quick.
Go right ahead, Mary.
I think one of the best things about both of these games, the Giants and the Eagles, was that they were super, 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 to like a really bad extent, confident before they played us.
Yeah, they were turned up. Yeah, they were turned up. They
were both really, really. Yeah. Eagles fans said Jalen Hurts is better than Dak.
Right.
They
Bart
said
Bart Scott even came out and said Daniel Jones better than
I mean, Giants fans are like, we're back. This is when our season starts. We're gonna start taking over. Mm-hmm. They came off that win in New Orleans. And we just, said, nope, not gonna happen. Not up in here, not in Jerry's house.
Nah, not here at all. So as we're leading into now, Professor O, I'm guessing your article is going to be about the Eagles and the Cowboys, yes?
Or the one from today?
The one that you're dropping.
Well, the one it was actually released a couple hours ago, but the one from today, for anyone who doesn't know, I write for Cowboys Wire, USA Today. So 33 articles out now. The one from today was the NFC East recap. So it's basically taking how the 4 teams have done with EPA, DVOA, a bunch of different analytics that I pull up to see how they compare with the rest of the league, essentially. So it's just kind of an NFC East recap. And then the one on Friday is going to be Patriots specific. So it's going to be the advanced scout notebook where we dive into everything that they do. well and everything they do bad, and then compare it to how we do to see what the numbers say on how the matchup looks like.
Okay. Well, we are in Professor O's class right now, ladies and gentlemen. As he just told you, they can find your articles where again?
Cowboys Wire. So usatoday.cowboyswire.com. It's on Twitter, and I think most of the guys and gals in here shared it. So check it out.
And you can catch it on the Cowboys page and group as well.
Yeah,
we always
and our group, Stargame group too.
Yeah, Stargame group and page. You can catch it there as well. So you draw some analytics. I know those are going to look good for us in the NFC East so far.
Right.
Have you peered over to New England yet? Have you started there yet?
I have, yeah.
Okay, so let's get a little preview of the Friday article then, Mr. Professor O.
Okay, so we're going to talk about some basic stuff and then kind of heat up as we go. So basics, their offense is 26th in scoring with 19.2 points a game. Dallas is number 2 in scoring with 34 points a game. We're getting to that Team 40 burger. Patriots defense is 5th in the league with 18.4 points per game allowed. Cowboys are 14th, so we're top 15 in both offense and defense, which we all chatted a lot this offseason. That's kind of the goal, and we're hitting that. Yards, I don't really care about. It's all about the points per game, so that's most important. Defense has given up 23.4 points per game. So here's some of the juicy fun stuff about our defense. We have 2+ takeaways in 9 consecutive games, which is the longest streak in the entire NFL since 2012.
Let's go.
Again, Cowboys, 2 or more takeaways, 9 consecutive games, longest streak since 2012. The Bears did it back then. Dak's being blitzed on 39.7% of his dropbacks, which is the most in the league. I don't know why teams keep trying it because 9 of his 13 touchdown passes are against the blitz. So if you want to blitz, go ahead and do it.
Doesn't work.
Come on.
I don't know why they keep trying. Passes 20 yards or more downfield. Dak has a 111 quarterback rating. Mac Jones, 8.8. Again, 20+ yards. Dak has a 111 quarterback rating. Mac Jones has an 8.8 quarterback rating when the ball goes over 20 yards downfield. What they do is traditional, what you've seen from Tom Brady.
Did you just say that Dak's not Dink and Dak anymore? I mean, because that's the word. I mean, Twitter told me
right.
that. Wait, Mary. The cornerbacks from the Giants told us, well,
Dink and dunk.
Dink and dunk. No,
explosive plays. No,
which is funny about explosive plays because Dak has the most 20-yard
plays. 7, right?
Yes,
7.
Yes, than any other quarterback in the league.
Yep.
Well, real quick, 12, 20 or more yard touchdown passes.
Real quick for Nathaniel Jones.
Oh, usatoday.cowboyswire.com. It's on Twitter. It's in the Stargame group on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. It's on there. Check us out in the Facebook group. You can check it out there.
Right here. All of us on Twitter.
You
can follow all of us on Twitter at all these handles right here. You can follow all of us on Twitter right there. Go right ahead, Matt.
All right. So dink and dunking. Speaking of that, it's literally that's what the Patriots do. They don't open the ball up and throw it on field a lot. 65.3% of his passes, talking about Mac Jones, are 9 yards or less. So close to 70% of his throws are going to be slants, rub routes, whip routes, screens, shallow crossing routes, things like that. So this very much plays into you're probably not going to get a lot of opportunities for takeaways this week. So when you get the opportunity, you got to get your hands on it and hang on to it. It's going to be a lot of quick throws, which means the pass rush is probably not going to have a ton of time to get to him. So when they do get opportunities, they're going to have to make it count. Mac Jones is doing basically what you want a young quarterback to do. It's all quick reads, 1 or 2 progressions, get the ball out of your hands, don't hang on to it, because when he does hang on to it, he turns the ball over. When he throws 20 or more yards downfield, he's thrown 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. So it's not in their best interest for him to hold the ball or open it up. They want to hit you with quick routes, get the ball out, do a lot of rub concepts to free up open men. You'll see a lot of crossing receivers, a tight end receiver, natural pick plays where it frees somebody up. They never get called for it. We do when we try it, but New England never does. Want to talk about Diggs real quick too. So Diggs, obviously, you guys know 5 consecutive games with interceptions. Yep. Don Bishop's the only player in Cowboys history to do that. 1961. 61, yeah. He had a bunch of interceptions in 62 too. The NFL record, though, is 8 consecutive games, and that was Tom Morrow back in 1962-63. He ended the year crazy. 15 interceptions in 8 games, which seems like a lot. Diggs is actually on pace to do about the exact same. So record watch, if Diggs gets one more, he has the Cowboys record. gets 3 more, he'll tie the NFL record. So little record watch there. Here's another good one too. So Patriots are only scoring in the red zone on 6 of their 16 red zone trips. That's 37.5% scoring, which is number 32 in the NFL. So again, they're going to get the ball out quick. You want to keep it in front of you, make the tackle, don't mess up, and force them to kick field goals because our offense will score points. So again, kind of we'll do keys of the game later. I don't want to jump into that, that's some of the basic numbers.
And of course, Professor O on Friday will be dropping that and all that in text form.
Yeah.
In text form. Stay tuned to his Twitter, Professor O NFL. Our Twitter, we share it as well. And of course, Sargain group and page, wherever there too. And of course, on the .com. Matto, give him the .com.
I'm sorry?
Give him the .com.
Oh, I pulled a Spoonie. My bad.
Why clues for everybody?
Today.cowboyswire.com.
There it is. There it is.
You can just Google Cowboys Wire. It'll pull up.
There it is. All right, so with that being said, let's lead right into this Patriots preview. Mary, the weather in New England. What are we looking at?
Yeah, it's going to be 65 degrees, a little sunny, but mostly cloudy. So no rain, no monsoon to speak of. Fingers crossed, knock on wood, all that.
For those of us who played football, 65 degrees is lovely. Ain't it? Ain't it, Matt? 65 degrees. Oh, sign me up.
Perfect.
Perfect. Sign me up. 65 degree football weather clear. Yeah, sign me up. So sometimes, weather can be a little bit of issue up there in Boston or wherever the hell they play. But it can be an issue sometimes up there, okay? but not going to be a issue come Sunday, as I got a Cowboys 2022 says, I thought I was taking a math class. I mean, hey, look, man, he's the professor. Hey, look, it is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. The numbers are on deck. You already know what it is. So no issues with the weather. The last time we were in 2019, I feel like the weather was not that great.
Nah, there's a little bit of rain, couple drops.
Monsoon.
A couple of drops. So weather's not going to be an issue. Let's backdoor some things, right? And we're talking about just the matchup in general. I mean, they just don't have the guys, in my opinion, the horses, if you will, at key positions. We talk about wide receiver, right? The tight ends, they haven't really produced. They did sign a guy who's been well in the league, right? My guy from the Chargers,
Hunter
Henry. But it has
Johnny too.
Right. Another one, right? It just hasn't really turned over that way. The running game hasn't really been great. And, of course, last week they were missing, I think it was 4 of their starting offensive linemen. Yep. Is what it was.
A few of them are still popping up on the injury report.
Right. And I don't think they're going to have all their full starting 5 this week against this front, which I think bodes well for the Cowboys in general. Mac Jones doesn't throw the ball much. Forget about getting it quick, though, Matt. He doesn't throw the ball outside, period, for the most part. Now someone will say, well, maybe it's armstring, maybe that. You don't have the horses. So the middle of the field is going to be very in general. For me, I think the Cowboys, man, you stack up the middle and take your chances with Anthony Brown and Diggs on the outside and say, good luck, guys. That's kind of where I am on it. Mary, this Patriots, where do you think, obviously, they can hurt us?
I mean, like you said, the offensive line is struggling right now. Their running game has been struggling, but on top of that, Damian Harris,
yes,
he's questionable. He went out last week, and he's questionable for this week. He has the most rushing yards on the team, 230. And like you said, I mean, they don't really have any horses. They have Hunter Henry, they have Nelson Aguilar, they have N'Keal Harry. Nobody who's really ever stepped up to be that guy. So it's going to be mostly, like Matt said, some short passes and trying to test us there and in the middle of the field. And I think that, if we let a guy named Michael McCorkle-Jones beat us, then
what was that name again? Oh, Mary, say that name for me one more time.
Michael McCorkle-Jones.
Okay.
If we let that young man beat us, then we deserve all the smoke that we get this week.
Yeah, I mean, Spoonie, these Patriots, you've kind of looked at them. What do you think, man? Unmute yourself, though, Spoon. You're not on par tonight, Spoon. I don't know what's going on over here. What are you doing, Spoon?
Can you pull up Cowboys 2022's last comment? It's perfect.
I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to say this right here.
Maybe you know what? Yeah, maybe he needs the mask. I don't know. We'll find out.
No,
He
no,
might
no.
show up. We got
Either
time
way,
still.
no. Again, if this is the old Cowboys team last season, I'm scared. This Patriots team is beatable. They haven't beat a team over 500. They only beat so far the Jets, and they struggled against the Houston Texans. They came back at the end of the third and fourth quarter just to win that game. It's a young team. We know that, but we know Belichick. Belichick is the mastermind in certain games like this. This is the type of games where he'll try to pull out a rabbit out of the hat and do something. I know we're not doing keys to the game yet, but I will say it is. This is the type of game that we cannot overlook Mac Jones, because it's really Belichick's game right here. And and when BJ said earlier about us with that slow start, we can't have a slow start like this. We're gonna have to really go in there without any mental errors, go to work, score some points, and this is going to be a real 60-minute football game, in my opinion. And I tell you this right now, if the Cowboys put up 40
Not
points
this year,
if they put up 40 points against this type of defense, who's ranked, I think PO said number 5 in the league,
Right.
it's the NFL better be on notice, man. I mean, I know every week they keep questioning it. They're going to be showing it.
Yeah. Matt, you want to go?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So I don't see this being a 40-point game. The Patriots, especially in New England, are just one of those teams. I expect us to win. I think we'll win by 10-plus points. We're not going to put up 40 points on them. I just have that feeling. Bill's a good coach. He's going to have his team ready. However, if you look at the quarterbacks they've played this year, they played Tua and Jacoby Brissett. They played Zach Wilson. They played Davis Mills. They played Jameis Winston. And they played Brady. One of those things is not like the other. They haven't played a lot of good quarterbacks this year. So we don't really know what their defense is. And obviously, it's easy to rank high when you play, bad run teams or bad passing attacks. They haven't really played anybody aside from Brady. And when he played, again, they had bad weather. And it's just one of those things. So I expect us to play a competitive game. I don't think we're going to get a takeaway this week. I hope we do. I don't see them giving a lot of opportunity to do that. Belichick does a good job of game planning against your weaknesses, and I think he's going to try to expose us with what he thinks is our weakness. So my overall thought for this game heading into it is it's probably going to be more low scoring than what we're used to, and maybe a little bit more stressful. Still think we're going to win, but I think it's going to be a 25 or less scoring output for our offense.
Yeah. I'm on none of that, to be honest with you. I'm being honest. I mean, I'm on none of it whatsoever. And the reason why I'm saying that is we were playing the number top 5 ranked defense, whatever, with the Panthers. But who did they face before they saw us?
Right, it's the same setup there, and that's why I'm saying we don't really know what their defense is. But
right. It's really kind of the same teams for the most part, right? So for me, no, I'm not buying it. Yeah. They played. Look. They played the Patriots or the Buccaneers close, right? That's fair. They played them close. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's fine. But they were missing some key components, right? Like a Gronkowski, so on and so forth. The weather wasn't really good. It was a night game. I mean, who knows Tom Brady better than Bill Belichick? Okay, so I mean, things happen, right? Then it was close, and in the whole 9. Look, Mac Jones has 5 interceptions already, or 6. Is it 6? 5 or 6? Somewhere
I think
he threw
like 6.
Yeah, I think he threw like 3. He threw like 3 against the Saints, 1 against Tampa, and like 1 against Houston. Jets remind me might have got 1, whatever. It's a rookie quarterback dealing with things that he has lackluster kind of weapons. Okay, so yeah, no, I honestly, rushing, Mary. What's the rush? How many yards did you give it up on the run defense again?
Average of 111 per game.
Wait a minute. Let me get right back to it. Right, because we played the number 1 rush defense, if I'm not mistaken, with Carolina, and how that turned out. And I'm just look, Bill Belichick's great. Don't get me wrong. And look, I think Matt Judon can wreck a game. He's 6.5 sacks. He has multiple double-digit sacks in games this year.
Yes.
Jackson at cornerback is really good as well too. Let's be clear there as well. They don't have enough horses on defense, guys. I think I think for me, I think this is the game. If you had any doubts, and there's a lot, there's still Cowboys suffering from that post-traumatic Garrett syndrome. I was very much one of those guys during Carolina. And then Carolina came and went. I said, okay, maybe somewhat against Philly as well too. But then things happened and moved on, and here we are. I don't think this game is close. I just don't. Like, we're matching up the rosters. There's no reason for this game to be close. Shout out to Bill Belichick and what he does. He's great. I understand that. Okay? I understand that. But I got the young Jedi over here. I got the Jedi over here that nobody has an answer for. Look at the Bucs defense. They didn't have an answer for what he called. And we look at the defense they faced. No one's had an answer yet. And even the knock would be the red zone, right? The red zone's an issue for the Cowboys. It's been an issue coming into this season. Wasn't really much of an issue. He seemed to solve that as well. So yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. A skeptical fan. Yeah, sure, they did beat them, but they were 3-0 coming in, and the defense was touted, and the things were happening, and whatever. So at that point in time, it is what it is. And obviously, their defense still did their job against Philly. Their offense just fell apart when it comes to Carolina, right?
Because I wanted to allude on that. I watched the whole game of the Eagles and Carolina game, and the Carolina Panthers kept the Eagles in the game. I mean, we can even call the play where Hurts fumbled the ball in the end zone, and 5 Panthers jumped on the ball and it still went out of bounds. Instead of getting the touchdown score, you only got 2 points. Darnold with the mistakes. I mean, offensively, it was a bad call during the second half of the game. The Eagles was throwing interceptions. What kept them alive was Hurts moving. The defense, of course, and Hurts moving that ball with his legs. That's it. It doesn't mean because they beat the Panthers that we didn't beat a bad team. No, we beat a good team. We beat a very good team. The problem is in that game, and every game is different. If you watch the whole thing, the Panthers kept the Eagles in the game. I mean, the score was the same almost to the whole first half. And there was many opportunities they didn't take advantage of.
Yeah. But with that being said, keys to the game. We're on to keys to the game. Professor O, what's your one key for the game?
My key for the game is just play smart football. You have the better roster. You're on the road. You're in an environment that's tough to win. Just play smart football. If you don't turn the ball over against them, I don't see any way that they could possibly beat us. I'm not that afraid of their offense. I'm not that afraid of their defense. It's just a game where you don't want to mess it up and make it easy for them to take advantage of it. So just play smart football. And when I say smart football, I mean, let's get those penalties down a little bit. We've had some issues here and there with it, but overall we've been pretty solid on offense. We're actually leading the league in defensive penalties, so that's a concern. But just play smart football. Don't get penalties. Don't turn the ball over, and we should have no problem winning this game.
Clean game from Matt O. Says we got to play a clean game. Spoonie, your key to the game.
Kellen Moore.
Okay.
Kellen Moore is my key to the game. This is the type of game, in my opinion, where it's checkers and chess. Right now he's probably the most creative offensive guy that the league's been talking about. We all know Belichick, and it's going to be pretty much whatever Belichick throws at him, how does Kellen Moore respond, just to put the guys in the right place to succeed.
No doubt. And as Brian chimed in, Patriots media and fans are saying the Cowboys are overrated. They said Mac Jones is going to tear up the Cowboys. And look, yeah, we were talking about this all day behind the scenes, a little bit on Twitter. We had one guy said, he came out there and after he did his thing of the overrated defense, and they should tear it up. He's like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked. Then there was a female again from WEEI said, I forget about the Cowboys being the America's team, whatever she's trying to, and then she even responded like, when you dunk on the Cowboy. Yeah. So they're talking a lot, but you know what? So did the Giants. So did the Eagles, right?
Carolina.
Yeah. I mean, so they've been talking. That's fine. Let them talk. And Mary, I had to save you for third after last week for your key to the game. I let my guys get a couple of keys in before you went this week. to make sure they
Yeah.
got some of the meat first before you got there. Mary, what's your key to the game?
Okay, so yeah, I have two, because I watched, a little bit of Bill Belichick and what he said about our team. Obviously, he was very complimentary. But one thing that stuck out to me, one of the first things he said was about the O-line, how well they've been playing. But he mentioned Travis Frederick. And Travis Frederick had to retire because of his injury or whatever. That to me tells me that he knows that Tyler is that weak link.
Right.
He knows that Tyler is something you can attack. He's seen what's happening up the middle. So that's the key to the game, is for him to do like Matto said and put a good game together, a really good game in both run and pass protection. Because he's definitely going to attack that. I don't feel like that was on accident at all. Another thing is special teams. I think him knowing that his offense isn't as good and it's going to be hard for them to keep up, him knowing that his defense is going to be hard for them to stop what we have on the run or the pass, I think where he tries to get us is special teams. And, we've had some miscues there this season. We've had some miscues there last season. Like, it's been an ongoing issue. Right. So he's a smart guy. I think he's going to try to take advantage of that, maybe some block punts or block kicks, some kind of mistake on special teams. He's going to try to do that. So I think those are two very important keys to the game, is that Tyler plays really well and special teams is on alert and they don't let any stupid things happen while they have the ball.
Yeah. I think my key to the game is Matt Judon. I think he is the guy for them on defensively that can wreck the game. And the Cowboys have to find a way to neutralize him, whether it's blitzing up the middle, if they want to move him that way. They haven't really. He's been the outside linebacker coming off the edge. But again, 6.5 sacks, yep. 2 multi-sack games, and gets pressure. For me, him moving from the Ravens to the Patriots, I said, oh yeah, Bill, there's a reason Bill got him. Like, he was okay over there with the Ravens. Don't get me wrong. He was a good player there, but we know the particular positions that Bill Belichick likes, and he went and got that guy for a reason, and he's highlighted him, and he's put him in positions to win. And again, we're talking about steel, So for me, Matt Judon, don't let him wreck the game, right? Mm-hmm. Don't let him wreck the game and do what you do. I think that's my key to the game, is neutralize, because their weapons to me are greater defensively than offensively. But for me, that's it. And I'm gonna cheat like Mary. I'm gonna give 2. And again, teams are going to test us with the run, even with Harris out. They're going to test us because that's the way they have to try to get us. Yeah. It just is, right? And that limits our offense being on the field. They're going to try to do that. We saw it with the Panthers, even without their lead guy. We even saw it to a certain extent with the Johnson, even once Saquon went out. Yeah. Teams going forward. I've said this since I called it. Or I didn't want to say I called it. I said I think this is how the Panthers are going to attack us. And I keep saying this. I think people are going to watch, rinse, repeat, because again, you got some 14-13 up with the Panthers at the half, and you got 17-10, even with all the injuries with the Giants at the half. So a smart coach is still going to try to do the same thing in him, and they're going to try to run the ball on us. And the Cowboys have answered the bell so far, and we'll see if they answer the bell again. With that to be said, who's your player to watch this game, Matt? Who's your player to watch? Who's the player you're taking this week? Say, hey, this guy's about to do something. What you like?
Yeah, so I've been a fan of him all off season.
Yeah.
I've been on Osa the last 3 weeks.
Are you switching up?
I'm giving up Osa. I'm going to let somebody else have him if you want him. I have a feeling. I just have this sneaky feeling that this is the game where Jaron Kearse is going to get an interception and the refs are not going to rob him. He's going to get one. So earlier when I said they're not going to get an interception or takeaway, I was kind of...
You were hedging your bets? You're setting it up?
I have a feeling Jaron Kearse is going to make a big game-changing play this week. I think he is. He's going to have a big game-changing play. I don't know if it's going to be something off of play action maybe, but I just have this feeling that I'm not saying pick 6, but I'm saying it's going to be a big game-changing, maybe to seal the win, something like that. I feel like Jaron Kearse, because I have a feeling we're not going to be that worried about the receivers, and we're going to play a lot of that 3 safety big nickel look that we started the game out last week with. I think the Cowboys are kind of liking that idea of having Hooker on the field at the same time as Kearse and Casey.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go with Jaron Curse. I think he's gonna just kind of wreck their entire game plan.
Man, I'm shocked. You finally moved off of Odigizua.
He's been doing so well. I don't have to. I gave him the
been
push, and
doing
he's just
so
running
good.
with it. I don't have to touch him anymore. He's
All right,
good.
no, fair enough. Spoonie, your player to watch this game. Who you like?
Whew. Well, I want to give credit to Matt O about Osa because 3 straight weeks and the man's been balling.
Yeah.
But
Hey, you better play good this week, or I'm blaming you,
I'm taking
Matt.
him right back next week.
Yeah, I got to give him credit with that. But from part of the safety committee, Matt O, Mendoza, they got Spoonie on board.
Oh,
And I had to borrow their guy.
okay.
And the guy I'm going to borrow is, and I'm going to say his name right out of respect for Professor O.
Okay.
I was in his class.
The Pro Bowler?
The Pro Bowler.
Pro Bowler.
I ain't saying
I'm
it.
still with that too. He's gonna make the
Future
Pro Bowl.
Pro Bowler, KZ.
Okay, let's go.
KZ. I said his name right, P.O. I want an A+.
You got it.
KZ will have an interception this game. Pick 6.
That means we're getting 2 interceptions because Curse is getting one.
Okay.
Going to them tight ends.
Well,
Going to them tight
damn,
ends.
y'all gonna make my prediction then.
Well, Mary, it's just payback for last week. It's okay. Oh, look,
A+.
Yes, I got
so,
an A+.
all right, so we got Curse, we got KZ, Mary Ella. Your player to watch this game.
Mine is Randy Gregory.
Ooh.
He had a great game last week, even though he, didn't get a sack. But this O-line is still struggling. And, we talked about Mac Jones likes to throw like some short, dump offs or screens or whatever. I think this is a good time for him to jump up and grab one.
Ooh, okay. I like it. Hey, man. For me, my player to watch, it's Matt Judon, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I'm not going to pick a Cowboys. I'm going to pick somebody on the other side of the field. I think for me, that's the guy for them that can wreck this game, and the Cowboys have to be relevant to that. I know Bosa could have done that. They did a good job. They have to continue to do the same job against Judon. You can't go to sleep at the wheel. You have to make sure he isn't wrecking the game and allow this team to do what they need to do. So, yeah, Matt Judon and how the Cowboys handle Matt Judon, I think, is my player to watch in what they do. More so not what he's doing, but how we handle him. And not let him wreck the game, if you will.
I like that pick. A low-key guy to watch out for the Patriots is another guy named Matt. Yeah. And it's kind of going off of what Mariella said. Matt Slater is an incredible Pro Bowl special teams player. He's one of the few special teams players that most fans know his name.
Been there a while.
Watch out for him doing – there's one thing that I mentioned it several weeks ago that I have concern with our punt formation. I don't know if you guys remember this.
I remember this. Yeah.
So when we punt, a lot of times teams have 2 gunners. We like to try to get after the punt, so we slide a guy in and have one-on-one. Watch for Matt Slater on a fake punt this week. I was looking for a team that was going to try to take advantage of it, and I think that might be one that they dial up this week.
Oh my God, Kenny says Schultz with 3 touchdowns.
Ooh, I'm with it.
Okay, all right. Robert said 3 on T's. Curse, KZ, and Diggs.
I like it.
Okay, all right. Okay, real quick, guys. Yes or no? You got to expound. Yes or no? Does Diggs extend the streak? Mary?
Yes.
Spoonie?
Yes.
Matto?
No. Unfortunately,
I knew he was going to say
that. I'm a no as well because I think the head coach is going to be smart enough to tell him we're not throwing that way. Period.
That's say something about that?
Sure, go right ahead.
Here's the thing. How about if we get a pick from somebody else, and they toss it back to Diggs, and Diggs
doesn't count though.
It
doesn't count though. He gets credit for the yardage, but not for the interception still.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
just like if you remember when Zeke and Pollard had was it Zeke and Pollard right before halftime? And Zeke lateraled to Pollard. Pollard got credit for the yards, but not the reception. Zeke got credit for the reception.
All
No,
right.
you mean Lamb. You're talking about the
Lamb. Was it
Yeah,
Lamb?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Lamb
Lamb.
caught it.
That's what it was.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Buddha Streets. What's up, Buddha, man? So he's got a question. Comparing to the upcoming of the 90s dynasty, looking at this 21 team, where are we? 91 or 92? Man,
It's a good question.
I don't want to even. To me, it's too soon.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you. I don't want to go there. I know Jimmy kind of hinted at that a little bit at one point, and and the flowers are being handed out, right? So Aikman, it said some things as well. You even got Colin Cowherd on his podcast, said some things, is a buyer and stuff, but to me, it's just too early. Enjoy. Look, here's what I want from Cowboys Nation. Let me pin back for a second. Let me get this hat off. I've done enough of that one. All right. I'm gonna tell you. Look, I think running the ball is going to be great this weekend. But as we're getting to salute the troop area, I do want to salute the troops. Just enjoy the ride, Cowboys Nation. I keep hearing these different things from different broadcasters and content creators on the national level say, "Oh, it's the best team in 10 years. Oh, it's the best team since 90 whatever," and all this. I don't care about that. I'll be honest with you. I don't really care about that. For me, I want to be in the moment. I want to game to game. It is what it is. I want to go for this ride because after last year, right, with the injury, the 6-10, the COVID, the people in the stands, different things like that, man, I want to enjoy the ride. And wherever the ride takes us, it's fine. But let's enjoy it now. We don't have to compare everything to everything else with this team. We don't have to worry about being the 2016 team because a lot of 2016, 2014 talk and where does it go there? They've done so well that it started to turn into, well, is this somewhere in the 90s or whatever? And we have people talking about, oh, well, after this year, we got to make Kellen Moore the head coach or what's going to happen with Dan Quinn.
Y'all skipping too far ahead.
It's just too far ahead. Guys, we're 4-1. We're going into week 6 of a 17-game schedule. For me, and what I implore to Cowboys Nation, here's what I implore to Cowboys Nation. Don't worry about it. Yeah. This team will tell us exactly who they are, right? They're going to tell us who they are as we go along for the ride. Let's enjoy the ride. Now, once the season's over, let's ask this question then. And Buddha, and I'm not singling you out, Buddha. Buddha's my guy. Shout out to my guy, Buddha.
Yeah, Buddha?
Love Buddha. But we just hear a lot of this, and I'm just like, who cares? To me, I'm like, it's this team. To me, right now, it's about the return of Dak, how he's been. The work, right? Because we talked about this a ton during the offseason, seeing the Zeke workouts, talking about him slimming down. We're seeing the jump cuts. We're seeing the explosiveness coming back. Like, we're seeing those things. We've lost all these players. They're still playing at a high clip. This defense is coming around. We're talking about the turnovers being number 2 in the league in turnover differential right now. Let's just enjoy it right now. Let's go up there. We've lost, 6 straight to the Patriots? 6 or 7?
Yeah, let's just win. We've never
won
in Gillette.
There and get that dub.
Gillette, ever.
Right. Let's go. There you go. Let's go up there. Let's get this win and let's keep the train moving. Let's enjoy it right now. And all this comparison stuff, man, I promise you, the offseason's long, guys. We can compare the hell out of all this. Go ahead,
one thing
what's up, Ron, by the way?
Oh, yeah, what's up? The one thing I do agree with, there was an article, I think it's on DallasCowboys.com, where they were talking to Stephen Jones about because the conversation has come up a lot with the 90s, comparing it to the 90s teams. And I liked his answers. He was basically saying the similarities are in the great leadership, the speed of the defense, the balance, and the swagger of the teams. I can agree on that. Mm-hmm. But other stuff, I'm just, taking it one day at a time. I think anything else is just too much. I'm not worried about Kellen. I'm not worried about Dan Quinn being here. I'm worried about the Patriots.
Man, I'm enjoying Wednesday right now talking about this thing.
Yeah,
exactly. And the WEEI and all their pundits talking about all this stuff and how it feels dunking. I got it saved. Oh, after this dub, I'm coming right back with the gift order. Did you dunk on this stuff? I just want us to enjoy. Look, man, I get it. We're in a microwave society, Matt, right? Everything's instant and we got to worry about the next thing and things are happening. Man, let's just peel it back a little bit. Hey, man, we're 4-1 on a good run. I promise you, there's going to be a rough stretch this season. I promise you.
There's going to be a game where we're like, oh
it's
my
peaks
God.
and valleys. It's going to happen. But let's attack it when it gets here, though.
I'm sorry, y'all. My knees are shaking. My hands is moving fast. I'm gonna say this right here. I do agree you can't really compare it all, but I'm gonna say this. You know, I have, I'm somewhat conspiracy with a lot of different things. Who's the best team in the AFC right now?
The Browns,
Chargers.
maybe?
Chargers.
Browns?
Chargers.
Or Bills?
Chargers. I say the Buffalo Bills.
Chargers or Bills.
All right, so let's just go with the Bills.
Okay.
In the conversation about the NFC, there's an argument about the Cowboys and Cardinals, right? Which I did predict during the game of December. We're gonna find out as something on the line.
The number 1 seed.
So if it's the Bills on one side and the Cowboys on the NFC side,
I see where you're going here.
History has a funny way of repeating. So I do agree with DJ and Maddie and what they're saying, but history does have a good way of repeating themselves. Now, here's another thing. The one thing I would say that we have on this team from the 90s is that mojo.
Oh, the mojo.
That's swagger. I mean, we got the swagger.
That's swagger. That right there.
That's what Stephen Jones said. Stephen Jones said swagger. So
right. And Michael Irvin talked about Super Bowl.
Yeah, Michael Irvin's always talking about Super Bowl.
In 91. Hold on a second. In 91, Amari Cooper mentioned it last week. So I'm going with deja vu. It's a lot can happen. It's still early in the season, but just the feeling of it, my God, it just.
And don't rush it because the season. Look, guys, we're already to week 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
And enjoy the ride. Just enjoy it, man. It's so good right now. Enjoy it as things are going. And we talked about this, right? If y'all listen to us a long time, we all kind of felt it. Hey, apparently you're sobering up now. You're back into it. You're back in. Look, Spoonie's back. But
I was worried because he starts like his hands being sweaty, his knees shaking. I'm like, he's going through withdrawals, man. We got to get him some more.
But here's the thing. It's like we all kind of said after the first 2 weeks, there was an opportunity when we did the preseason breakdown. After the first 2 weeks, this team could go on a run. And so far they're doing it. Man, let's just ride the wave. You know what I mean? Let's just ride the wave, because nothing's guaranteed and we'll figure everything else out. That's why the Trey Gallup do this. I'm like, no. I'm not trying to weaken. No, I want to be completely loaded and let's go chase this 6 for real, the right way. Now, if you go get a guy, that's fine, but don't weaken something to go get a guy. So I mean, again, that's just me, man. Like I said, there's plenty to talk about. Obviously, a lot of the national media and different talking heads are going to try to cherry pick and do different things or whatever. I mean, you got Stephen A. Smith on his A list. He's got us at number 2 right now. That's only for his benefit. Stephen A. Smith has us there just so when we mess up, he go like, "Ha, I told you, but I had y'all number 2." Like bro, that's what he's doing. I mean, it's the setup.
So So BJ, I know because I get it. This is the first year with PO, right? And I know we got some Cowboy fans who are brand new to us. So I want to ask you and Mary something. So I guess when you guys feel it, we're gonna hear those special words that y'all normally say after the show, right? Because here's the thing.
Not yet.
I'm not ready.
Once they hear it,
don't pressure her, Spoonie.
I know now.
Spoonie.
I know now. When y'all say it, y'all in it.
All right. Well, when Mary says it, that's her. Let her get there. Let her get there. Matt, any comments about the ride real quick, and we'll pivot into some score predictions.
Yeah, I'll be quick with it. I'm trying to be in the moment. I look at it like this. I know not everyone's been married. If you have been married, there's a lot of prep that goes into the wedding. You spend all this time anticipating the wedding, looking forward to the wedding, and then suddenly it's there and it's gone. It goes by so quickly. Christmas, whatever. If you haven't been married, think about Christmas. You look forward to it, and then the day comes and you're like, man, I was fast forwarding the entire month of December waiting for it, and now it's here. It is gone. Like it happens so quickly. We've waited 2.5 decades already. I know that that's a long time, and I'm hoping that ends this year. I just want to enjoy each week because I don't want to rush through it and get to the Super Bowl and be like, I didn't even appreciate it because it all happened so quickly. So I'm just trying to do each win at a time, every play at a time, each quarter at a time. And, we'll get there when the time's right. So hopefully the time is this year. And if it is, great, we'll celebrate it. But let's just enjoy it right now and let next week play itself out.
That part. With that being said, Mary, your score for the game.
Yeah. I agree with Matt O. I don't think it's going to be 40. I think we're still going to win by double digits. or close to it. I
Okay.
said 28-19.
28-19 from Mary. Spoonie, what's your score?
I'm on a winning streak.
Yes, you are.
You
And I
are.
might as well stay on it.
Okay.
The Cowboys are going to win 42-28.
42-28 from Spoon. Professor O.
So I already told you I don't think we're going to hit 40 burger.
Right.
And I have some ulterior motive on my point projection. There's a certain guy that needs to be in the Hall of Fame who's not. It's our guy, Darren Woodson. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with 28. I think we win 28-13. I'm going to go with 28 as our final score. We're still going to win by double digits. It's going to be competitive, maybe into the third quarter. We'll pull away with the Jaron Kearse interception, and it's going to be 28-13. That's my score.
Yeah. Monday, Tuesday, before we got today, I had different Cowboys fans in my inbox talking and very nervous, everything. And I responded. And my every single response was a GIF. And if you're a Karate Kid fan, or if you ever watched Karate Kid, it was of Mr. Creasy looking at Johnny Lawrence, no mercy. And that's exactly where I'm at. A lot of people talk about, the Cowboys had something to prove against Garrett. They had something to prove against the team. Do you not think that Kellen Moore doesn't want to go out here and prove something against Bill Belichick?
Yeah.
Do you not think that? Come on. Guys, I look at the roster up and down. They got some players on defense. I'm not saying that they don't. I look at this offense. Ain't no way. Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. Ain't no. If Justin's on Amari, who's covering CeeDee Lamb? Who? They're giving up a ton of rushing yards already, and we're running against the Bears. Who's stopping Dak right now? Look, Bill Belichick, Hall of Fame, whatever. The whole nine, we know it. It's fine. Ain't no way. I'm telling you now. Cowboys are dropping a 40 burger. I think they're leaving no doubt.
Yes. Preach, BJ, the Messiah.
I think they're leaving no doubt.
I love it.
Injecting me.
Yes.
I think it's 42-17. I think it's 42-17. I think it's 42-17. Look, how many points did they score against the Texans?
22.
They're gonna get more than that on us. Nah, fam, I can't see it. I can't see it. I can't see it. They need 3 wide receivers. Yes. I don't know them. The whole offensive line is wrecked. The wide receiver, the running back. I don't care how much you scheme. At a certain point, it is what it is. I'm sorry. I don't see it. I'm not nervous. No mercy. I don't care. I think this is a 42-17 game. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. I'm getting to my look. I'm taking over part of Swootie's minute right now. I don't care. This team is not that good. Who'd they beat again, guys? I'm sorry. They're 2-3, right?
Right.
Who'd they beat?
Texans
they beat
and
the
Jets.
Texans and Jets. That's it. And I was
What
there
are we
for that
talking about? What are we? Who'd they lose to?
They lost to the Saints 28 to
Bucks,
something.
Dolphins.
Miami Dolphins. The Messiah has risen, y'all.
What are we talking about? I told y'all. Look, I let the first quarter of the season get through. The old first quarter used to be 4 games. You kind of see what it is. Look at what they played and what they're doing. It's a rookie quarterback who doesn't have a gun for an arm. I don't know. Look, I'll show back up here Wednesday night. All right. Wednesday night, 8:00 next week. And if it's not in that realm, sure, I'll come back here and own it. I don't see it. This team, the way they're playing and what's going on, what tells me what does the Patriots do that says, okay, well, oops, it's a problem, guys. I just don't see it. I'm sorry. I just don't. And look, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And look, I'm going to use this right here. I'm going to use this one. Matt's going to love it. The eye test tells me Patriots ain't got shit. Excuse my language.
Oh, my God, the Messiah.
I just don't see it. What's there to be scared of from the Patriots offense? Mm-hmm. If anybody can tell me one reason to be scared of the Patriots offense, let me know. Anybody on the panel? I'm
not scared. I'm scoring 13 points on us. I mean, we're not going to lose if we give up 13 points to them. So
I mean, defensively, defensively, how are they stopping us?
That's why the special teams got to put in work.
I get it. It's Bill Belichick. I do get it. It is Bill Belichick. But I'll look at the teams that they played. What are we talking about? They've faced nothing in the stratosphere of what this offense is right now. So to me, man, this is easy. I'm sorry. Hey, shout out to Bill Belichick, man. Hey, man, GOAT, first ballot Hall of Famer. When you walk away, the whole nine. Hey, man, and that quarterback and what you got building up there can be something. I'm not saying that it can't. It ain't week 6 of his rookie year though, and it's not against this team. Sorry, it's not there. Throw it Anthony Brown you want to. He might pick 6 you. We already seen it.
Oh man, this is.
Buddha's comment. Buddha, I made jokes about it a few times in the chat. I swear the Patriots have some little switch that they do. Anytime a high-power offense comes, there's like a fog or snowstorm or a monsoon or some weather phenomenon comes out of nowhere. There's going to be like a hurricane that just appears overnight.
It better show up quick.
That's like what they're going to have to happen. I don't know if he does rain dances or what happens, but like somehow when a good offense shows up to Foxborough, they're like, switch.
And again, and if Mary would have said, well, it's going to be super rainy, 45 degrees or whatever, I'm like, okay, maybe we're not going to score. Well, what's our forecast again, Mary? Sunny?
65 degrees.
Oh, man, yeah.
Slightly
Makes me want to put some pads on right now like I used to play.
Exactly.
I'm ready, right? 65, sunny? Oh, sign me up. Hey, man, ain't no way. No way, bro. I'm just telling you.
All BJ needed was a minister's shirt and us go, That's all he needed. Messiah is back. Yes.
I'm just saying, man. I just, I think, look, here's the thing. Here's what got me juiced up tonight. I'm normally not like this. I'm normally not like this when it comes to it. I understand that. But one is all that media up there in Boston with that hot talk. Yeah. And I'm like, but you ain't done nothing. That's one. Okay. That got me going a little bit. And then two, Cowboys fans so scary because it's Bill Belichick. Jason Garrett don't coach this team no more, guys. Yeah. I'm sorry. It's not the same. It's just not. So it's time to put the post-traumatic Garrett syndrome behind you and get on board with what's going on. For everyone that's worried about everything coming in and comparing us to the 91-92 team or the 14 team or the 16 team, well, damn it, if you believe in those teams, what's the problem this week? Somebody said you can't have it both ways.
Preach, brother.
Man,
either you're buying what's happening on the field the first 5 weeks or you're not. Because if you're buying what's happened so far, Bill Belichick ain't suiting up, to my knowledge.
Hold on.
Tom Brady ain't there, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't see it.
Who Gronk ain't there?
Gronk who? Yeah, I mean, he ain't there. I mean, I just don't see it. Like, this team is really bad on paper. Yeah. They just are. They're not that good. Look, honestly, the Giants got better weapons. The Giants are a better team on paper than the Patriots.
They are. Yeah.
I get it. Daniel Jones got hurt, whatever. But I mean, I'm sorry. I'll stop. Spoonie, I'm treading on your Spoonie's minute. We've been going too long, and I will go on all night. But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, no further ado. Mary, get the clock ready.
Hold on.
Mary, get the clock ready.
While he's getting ready, I just want to remind people, Spoonie was the one that gave us Spoonie Minute and got our boy Terrence Steele to see the light. He literally changed his entire anatomy and DNA with his speech. But next week, our guy Spoonie was like, it's been a rough 2 weeks. Anthony Brown, I'm talking to you. And did a whole 10-minute montage to him and changed it. So I don't know if he's going this route, but I'm really kind of hoping our boy Tyler B gets a speech from Spoonie because I feel like that's all he needs.
You're not wrong there. Yeah. You're not wrong, Matt. You're not wrong.
Suddenly the snaps are crisp. He's calling out protection. Like that's all we need.
All right, we got the minute on deck.
We're ready.
Y'all know what time it is. Spoon. There it is, Spoon.
There it is.
All right, Spoon. Your minute starts.
Ready when you are.
Now.
I just want to start by saying this. Dunkin' Donuts, the next time you give me coffee, you never put it in a giant cup, in a New York Giant cup. You put it in a Halloween cup. You know why? Because the Dallas Cowboys right now are spooking the shit out of teams right now. They are scaring the league. Let me start off by saying this. Mr. John Anderson the Cowboys have an overrated defense. No, the Patriots are overrated. Mr. John Anderson, your articles suck. You suck. Understand that, Mr. John Anderson. Have the nerve to talk about overrated defense. And let me say this to you. Tyler Badass. Let me say this to you, Tyler Badass. You are replacing a legend in the beard, Travis Frederick. That man had to retire for personal injuries. You are wearing the star. Act like you want it. Play like you want it. Because you know why? they're having somebody in another position trying out for that role. How dare you embarrass Travis? Make up for it. You playing against Belichick this week, you're going to pound their asses in. P.O., the professor, has gave you a C- last week. Damn it, you want to get a B+.
All right.
I'm telling you guys, watch. Halftime, you're going to be like, I think Spoonie did it, man. I think he fixed it.
He's been on a roll. He's been on the roll with the 40 burgers. He's been on the roll with Anthony Brown. I mean,
Tyler
yeah.
Stokes,
Yeah, I
Terry
mean, he
Steele.
has definitely been on a roll. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Ladies and gentlemen, we went a little long tonight. We started a little bit late tonight, man. We appreciate you rocking with us as always. Man, we are finally over 500 subs.
Ooh.
500. But we need to get to that 1K on YouTube. Okay, we're trying to get to that 1K. So make sure you run, tell a friend, do the whole nine right there. Stargate Podcast on the bottom of your screen is where you can go follow and sub to the channel. As always on Twitter, y'all see it on every one of our squares. Stargate Beauty, Spoonie 881, Professor O, NFL, and your guy Nick's underscores in between. Man, come follow us on Twitter as well as we're building the nation. We are over 8,000 in the group. We appreciate everybody. Come join the group. If you want to come join the Facebook group, that's your thing. We have a Facebook page as well. Make sure you go like and follow the page as well, too. Once again, every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central, we're right here delivering the content. Matt Owen, writing now, on deck, about to be. Well, wait, you get the little badge, don't you? You about to get that little badge, ain't you?
Yeah, I think so. I might get that little blue check pretty soon.
Yeah, about to be verified, if you will. And of course, Friday, his and before we came on tonight, his article dropped, and Friday's got another article on the Patriots. We'll definitely get those things up for you as well. Make sure you go follow him on Twitter, or just Google, as he said, Cowboys Wire, and you'll find it.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah,
Or
just go
in the Stargate Facebook group. We got you right there, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wherever you want it, you can find it.
So once again, run, tell a friend, come follow all of us, man. Let's go Cowboys. Let's go up to Gillette, get this dub. Last word from everybody around the panel. Matto.
Curse. Pick 6.
Let's go, Spoonie.
Stay on the train. Dominate. Celebrate.
Mariella.
Come on, man.
Say
Go
KZ
Cowboys.
Pro Bowl. Go
KZ
Cowboys.
to
I'll
Pro
take it.
Bowl.
All right, go Cowboys.
Thank you. KZ to the Pro Bowl. You heard it from Mary right there.
And for me, man, enjoy the ride. 42-17 Cowboys come Sunday. We'll be here for the post game. We'll be here on Wednesday. Make sure you follow us. See y'all next week.
See you guys.